Yeah, welcome back, everybody, to a little show we like to call
Roll with the Troll.
And I am the Troll. I'll be hosting this fucking thing. I'm here with the voice of reason.
Yes.
And we have a lot to say about Cobra Kai Season 5. Our full-blown spoiler review. We're going to talk about Episode 2 here in this beautiful episode. Voice of reason, what did you think of Episode 2?
I loved it.
Loved it. Loved it.
Yes.
And it's called Mole.
Mole?
Mole?
I don't know.
I thought it was called Mole. I didn't see a lot of moles. I mean, I spotted a couple, but I think for the most part, it was pretty clean skin, pretty, straightforward skin. I like this episode.
A lot of sun protection going on.
Yes, a lot in Mexico. I like this episode. I don't care so much about Miguel and his dad and that whole storyline.
Yeah.
But the acting was really good from his dad. And this episode was a whole lot better than the first one. The first one, I thought, started the season off kind of weak.
Really?
Yeah, I really didn't care much for that. Of course, all of you hopefully heard our episode 1 review. I didn't really like that one so much. This one was much better. Plus, it was kind of cool that we got a little bit of MIYAGI-Do from Robbie doing the that little contest.
Oh, yeah, the hot chili thing.
The hot chili thing, yeah. And we saw maybe the baldest man who's ever existed.
Oh, my. Yeah, that was one hairless dude.
Yeah, and his eyes were weird, and he kind of looked a little bit like some kind of like a mutant at first. And at first, I almost thought, like, are they trying to say like something's fucked up with him? No,
he's been eating too many chili peppers. It scorched the hair right off of his body.
I guess, yeah. He really looked like an odd man. So we saw a couple things from Robbie. We saw the criminal mentality of lying and cheating, and he pretends to eat the chili and then he doesn't. Right? So that's very Robbie. Remember back in season 1, he was a criminal for a bit, and then also he's very manipulative, like at LaRusso Auto. Remember that he's a very smart, like kind of sophisticated criminal mind kind of kid.
Very street smart, this kid.
Yeah. I remember with the snake a couple seasons ago. He's got a lot of stuff going on. So he was really interesting there that he came up with that little sneaky mentality. But he also had the MIYAGI-Do ability to control his insides. He was so in touch with himself. And that's why I think he told his dad, like, I got this. I know what to
he
do.
was very confident about that.
Yeah, he's been there and back with MIYAGI-Do, and he knows what to do. I don't think, I got the impression he didn't say I got this because he knew to cheat. I think he said, I got this.
He said, I know I can win.
Yeah, I know I can win. Well, maybe it was about the cheating then, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, hard to say. Okay, I guess I don't know.
He already had it all worked out.
I got the impression that because he was there a while, there was like a fast forwarding. I got the impression that he just knew that inside he could handle it. But anyway, very good part of the story.
What about the beginning? The very, very beginning of this episode? Oh, my word.
Oh, with young Sato and young Chosen?
Yes.
That was incredible.
That was not CGI, right? I mean, whoever they found to play young Sato.
Looks exactly like a young Sato.
My jaw dropped to the floor.
Yeah, it was very believable in every way. His voice, his look, he really 100% felt like a young Sato.
Yes. Oh, my God.
And young Chosen, I even thought was good. Even though he didn't say anything, young Chosen was believable, too.
That kid was cute.
I loved it. I really enjoyed that beginning. I wonder if they're kind of testing the waters for prequels, for prequel TV shows. Because I know that they have so many things.
What did you think of it?
Well, maybe. Because, there's already a lot of talk about a young Miyagi show. And although really a young Miyagi show would probably take place before that year when we have young Sato there, it would probably be before that, right? Because Miyagi left when he was like 20 or something like that, or 18.
Yeah.
So that would have been before that. I don't know, but I wonder with some of these young actors, like the young Kreese and young Silver, if they're just trying to test the popularity of these guys as these actors, to see who can go on to get like a prequel spinoff. Personally, I don't want prequel spinoffs, but that's a whole nother video. I want the spinoffs to just keep going into the future. I don't want this jumping back in time is lame because you already know how everyone's going to turn out. So it's hard to really get like, oh no, is Miyagi going to get killed? No, he's fine. Yeah. So, there's just not that much you can worry about. But yeah, I really enjoyed that scene as well. I thought that was really well done. It probably wasn't necessary for the story, but when you got a young Sato like him, you got an actor who seems that perfect for young Sato, you're like, fuck it. I wonder if they even had a casting call out for him. Maybe a guy just knew that he looked like young Sato. He comes in, he's like, you will strike high. He was so perfect. I bet the actor just showed up on the set one day and just started being young Sato, and they're like, fuck it, hire him.
Yeah.
Come up with a scene for this man.
We'll write it in somewhere.
Yeah, come up with something because he was so good.
That was so spot on.
Oh, man.
God.
Anyway, so great episode for those reasons, right? We talked about Miguel's dad. We talked about young Sato at the beginning. I think the best thing, though, Thomas Ian Griffith, it's hard to believe he retired from acting for such a long time because he's so good.
Yeah.
I would actually say that he's one of the, I'd say he's probably the second best actor on this show behind Machio.
You think?
Yeah, I think Machio's the best. I think Machio's a fucking really talented actor. I do.
Yeah.
But I'd put him right behind Machio. Who else on the show is that good?
No, I think, you're right.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous because he's probably acted almost the least. He was out of it for a long time. If you remember his story, he's also a writer. Yeah, he's a talented guy.
Yeah.
He's a writer. And sometime after Karate Kid 3, I guess, I'm not sure where, but at some point he was talking to his accountant, and his accountant figured out, like, you know what, you really don't need to act anymore. You're making enough money on just writing. And so he said, all right, well, then I'm out of acting. It's too complicated. I'll just write.
Wow.
And so all these years later, they bring him back, and he's amazing. And he carries a wide breadth of great acting, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Because he does the anger, and not just anger, but psychotic anger really well. You know? There's a lot of looks in this episode where
very subtle, and you can read his face.
Yeah, incredibly.
You can almost see his thoughts sometimes, but at the same time, because the character is also so devious, you can't.
Right.
You know,
yeah. Good point.
You can read them, but you can't read them, but you know there's something to read in there.
That son of a bitch.
Yeah, he gets really subtle with it, but so good.
And it happens a lot. I'd say the look on his face suddenly having to be perfectly spot on happens literally in this episode maybe 20 times at least.
Yeah.
Because you look at the conversation with Tori. When Tori confronts him about the cheating, he had to go from shock to putting on his little Terry Silver thing. We're like, oh yeah, hey, if your dick gets cut off,
oh my God,
and you have to put on a new dick, don't you think that just meant whatever he said, something like that. There's so many times, and then he did with Chosen. It happened a lot. There was a lot of the situation with Chosen reminded me of Attack of the Clones. Remember when Obi-Wan and Jango Fett like we're each keeping a big secret, and they're like, oh, I'm just trying to make my fucking way through the galaxy and trying to get laid every now and then, and then Obi-Wan's like, really? Oh yeah.
Said that
either. Well, but there was such a. They both knew they were being lied to. They both, it was so perfect. And with Chosen and him, this was really intense. And by the way, I love that they did it this way, because if you remember in one of our videos where we were predicting what was going to happen in season 5, I had said that very early on, they needed a way to make Chosen and Terry hate each other.
Yep.
Not just have qualms because Chosen's on Daniel's side.
Yeah.
But I said they need to give them a grudge match. They need to come up with a way to make them really, really despise each other and have a personal vendetta for one another that's good, that goes beyond Daniel.
Yeah.
And this episode did exactly that.
Yep.
It made it so Terry hates being lied to and manipulated, right? And Chosen really got to see the disgust, like the true disgusting aspects of Terry and the manipulation and everything that Terry's up to. So by the end of that episode, oh man, you want to talk about the ending?
Yeah.
We can jump around a little more, but let's talk about the ending.
Okay.
Oh, this was the best ending. That scene at the end was one of the best things. Now, to be fair, I get that it was very transparent that as soon as Silver confronted Chosen and said, that whole bit about how he held up the drink and he said the wrong thing. Yeah. I get that it was very clear that Chosen was going to beat all of them, all the senseis when they were going to fight. There was no question that, like, is one of them going to get a punch on? None of them even hit him at all. Yeah. It was like a Steven Seagal movie, where like no one ever gets a hit on Seagal ever. Yeah. That's what happened with Chosen. Yeah. And I thought it was clear that was going to happen. So I can't say I was surprised. I don't think anybody was surprised that Chosen whipped everyone's ass. Right. But what made that fight so great was the look on Chosen's. He's another great actor. Yuji is great. And he's another one who I don't think acted for a long time. And yet these two guys stole the show.
Yeah.
These two guys who don't really act. Like Yuji owns a restaurant somewhere in California.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And people come in and they talk Karate Kid 2 with him.
He steals the whole season.
Yeah, these two guys, I give it more to Yuji, I guess, but they both are incredible. So the looks on Chosen's face during the fight, every time he beat one guy, he'd have a look on his face of just disgust against Terry.
Yeah.
And Terry went from shock to intimidate, like actually being intimidated, which is rare for him.
Yeah.
To like real fear, like, oh my God, this guy's going to kick my ass too. And then to kind of, he'd get this look on his face like, oh yeah, motherfucker. Oh yeah, like almost like he was challenging himself on the inside to not be afraid of Chosen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just went up and down and up and down. You guys watch that scene again. It is incredible the way Terry goes through all this whole series of different emotions while Chosen's beating the fucking bloody piss out of every one of his would-be.
Yeah, Terry Silver, he even had part of his expression was even like he was impressed.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's another one.
He was like really pissed off, but he was also very impressed.
Yeah, this really can't. I love the acting. This season, the acting's the best. I don't think it's ever been this good.
Yeah.
And it's mainly because of these two guys, but some of the other actors as well, I think probably stepped up their game a little bit. Terry went through so many things, and this spoke to, we know he's like a psycho, right?
Yeah.
And we know he's had drug problems and all these things going on, and he's got medication going on that's seemingly connected to psychology. I just thought that was perfect, that last scene. And then, oh my Lord, the very end, right? You know what I'm going to say. Once Chosen gives that speech, no more expansion.
Yeah,
you know, he's like, stay away from the LaRusso family. He's like, sell all your stocks. Yeah, he's like, cut off that ponytail. He's like, split off your penis. Do at least.
Oh,
like,
he didn't say that.
He started making all these demands. It was so great. And Terry just, again, his face went from like hatred to fear,
amusement,
to kind of amusement. He's all over the place. And I just kept thinking, that is so perfectly Terry.
Yeah.
He's the opposite of Kreese. Kreese would have just been one deadpan look the whole time.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying because Martin Cove's not a great actor. I'm saying Kreese's character is very consistent.
Yeah.
Rarely does he throw you a curveball.
Yeah.
Maybe only at the end of season 4 when he said, let Tori do what she wants, right? In the tournament.
Yeah.
But other than that, he doesn't really throw curveballs. Terry is all over the place. And I still maintain, by the way, in 1989, when Thomas Ian Griffith played Terry Silver for the first time, I think that same year he should have been the Joker in Batman.
Yeah.
And I know, like, obviously they wanted Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson's huge. This guy was never heard of. But I think he would have been a phenomenal Joker. You know?
I agree, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, just fuck the fact that Jack Nicholson is so famous. Yeah, anyway, this episode was just so much fun. I really, really, really enjoyed it. Again, the Miguel thing I don't really care about. I don't really see that it's all that important, but the guy playing his dad was another really good actor.
Yeah, it was good.
The acting was so elevated in this episode. And it was cool to get that wrapped up and just done with, you know? So it didn't take up too much time. I was afraid it was going to go on half the season.
Yeah, you were.
Oh, I don't need that. But this was great. This was exactly the true venom that we needed between Silver and Chosen.
No, that's a different movie.
But what a phenomenal ending. What a phenomenal ending. And for Tori to be so conflicted too, her acting too really stepped up. Everybody's did.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, she was always okay.
Yeah, this season I think is the best.
Yeah. So much fun. So much fun. Hey, before we wrap up, do you think Miguel's dad, like you had a theory that he might come back in a later season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think that they have an opportunity to bring him back if they wish, because Miguel did leave his backpack behind. That's what it seems like anyway, and so there's a way to open that door to bring that character back in if they want to. So I could see him coming to California and tracking him down and wreaking some havoc. That could be fun.
That's really interesting. And he knows his name is Miguel. Yeah. So if he starts putting things together, like if he does think that like maybe this is my long lost son, if there's some clue there for him, it wouldn't surprise me at all. This show loves to make you think someone's story arc is done, like with Stingray.
They mess with our minds a lot.
Right? I mean, I thought Stingray would never be seen again. He turned out to be a huge part of this major plot shift. So anyway, guys, listen, thanks so much for supporting our fucking channel. We don't do the best job, but we try. and I think something's worth it there. Guys, please click like if for any reason you enjoyed this video. I can't imagine. Make sure you subscribe, click the bells, click the whole thing. Troll out.
Voice of Reason out.
Voice of Reason out as well. Guys, we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Bye.